All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. Today we're going to be tackling 48 hours down, and a little bit more than 40 hours, but 48 hours with my Z Flip 6. And I'm curious to why so many people don't gravitate towards the 6 if they feel like they don't like folding devices. Because the traditional slab, and by the way, this video is being recorded with the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. And obviously you can see my Z Fold 6 here. I'm going to be kind of referencing that for a little bit in this video, but this is what the Z Flip 6 looks like when it's not closed. I mean, it is just a beautiful piece of hardware. But more importantly, you can close it up and get into just I can customize this outer display and just add stuff. You can add so much stuff in here. You can do it all. It's just a nice way to have the display here and get some functionality out of it. It's just really good. So being able to add widgets and then have full access to the camera. So you can do regular photos, and there's the S24 Ultra up there. And I'm going to take a portrait shot real quick here. And you can look at that right on the cover display. I kind of got some of the microphone in there, but look at how good that is. These cameras are great. And so having full access to the outer display is something that's still kind of shocking to me, to a person who might say, well, I got to use a traditional slab. Well, here's a traditional slab. This is the S24 Plus. Now, when open, there's advantages. You get a much bigger display over here. It's a taller, narrower aspect ratio, but it's still a bigger display. But it's really easy on the hand when using it in comparison to the S24 Plus or the S24 Ultra I'm recording with. Most slabs are not this narrow, which actually plays in well for this design. But if you're a person who's wondering about the way these feel in the hand, and if you think you can't transition to a folding device, you really can. And I'm surprised that Samsung pushes, their bigger folding devices more than it appears they push the one that they could probably sell more of. I don't know why they do that, but I personally feel like the Flip series has always been the one that I think people Samsung should have been promoting. I don't know why they don't do it. It still baffles me, because this one costs less, while still expensive. It does cost less than the bigger devices and everything. So some people say, well, I worry about damaging the display. I have yet to damage one of these displays, and maybe I'm careful with my devices, or people are really rough with their devices. I don't understand how a person could damage the display. Just close it up when it's not in use. Now, there are some people out there that just turn theirs off and they don't close it up. They just leave it out because technically it can still be a slab. I clean the display like I do anything else. And obviously you can't puncture the display with a pen or anything like that, but I don't do that over here either. I don't put pins on my display. So I think for whatever reason you think you might hurt this display, I just think you're kind of I'm not talking to any specific person out there. There's a group of people out there, though, that feel like they can damage this display in the first week of having it, or the first just month or two, or first year. You really, I don't think you will. You'd have to be really tough on this phone by just keeping it open and keeping it face down, or throwing it around, just being really rough with it to damage this display. So the transition from slab to folding, Samsung's missing a beat here. They're missing a mark, and they're missing an opportunity to transition a lot of people from slabs to folding devices. And I know you're thinking, well, Jay, the slabs, the S-Line is their moneymaker. You're right. Tons of people are buying the S-Line more. The S24 Ultra is probably their top selling phone. And then you have the smaller variant, which I didn't get this year. I really wish I would have, but it's ultimately this phone, that's all. With the lower resolution, things like that. But nonetheless, they give you variety. And the Flip line is shockingly not promoted as much. I'm shocked. I am shocked that they don't promote it as much as they possibly could, and they promote this bigger version right here, which is the Fold 6. And they've always promoted the bigger folding versions more than the flip versions. I didn't understand that. So hardware wise on this thing, it is absolutely great. And as you can see, I just close it up and I can throw it into any pocket. I actually took the case off. I was wearing my Binks case. Obviously, I love the ultra thin cases. These phones right here, typically, I don't like cases on my device 24 hours a day. And I normally put a heavier duty case on when I go outside somewhere and I know I'm going to be in an area where it's questionable. But typically, I'll just leave no case or an ultra thin case. So, I mean, I have them on everything, every device. Where's my S23? At S23 Ultra. It's got an ultra thin case. Pixel, Fold, ultra thin Binks. Patak, I'm sorry. The ultra thin cases are just the way to go if you're, not a person who thinks you like case. You want to wear a case, and that's me. I don't really care for cases overall. Even though I do case reviews, I prefer a thin case or no case. And only a heavy duty case when I know I'm going somewhere. But the hardware on here is great, man. I mean, you've got really solid cameras. You have access to these cameras at all times. Like, you don't have to use this inner display camera, but it is in fact really good. And so let me take a quick photo here with the inner camera here. This is from this internal camera right here. This is a solid photo. A solid photo. And I took this photo earlier with the rear camera with it closed. So, the cameras are really good. Let me go ahead and take another photo with the rear camera with it open like this. And I'm going to turn on the display here because look, you have access to the display. Let me take a portrait shot real quick. And this is from the outer display once again, like I did when it was closed. Solid shots, man. Solid shots. These in the video cameras on here are just stupendous, man. You get all that you get from the higher price ones. You just don't get 8K. And, that's just something that it's a part of the game. The one thing I just don't like is that you can't use the outer display with the 60 frames per second. It has to be the 30 frames per second. That's how it is. But other than that, folks, you're getting high quality cameras. You're getting high quality, very high quality hardware. And there are a lot of people out there who have the Z Flip 6 or the 5, and they had all the previous generations because there is a market for this device. Believe it or not, there really is. And it's just that more people feel like they have to have what they consider the best foldable from Samsung, and it's going to be the Z Flip 6 or Z Fold 6 and the Z Fold lineup going in the previous generation. So hardware wise, functionality, everything on the Z Flip 6 is absolutely great. Now, you do have Samsung's software. Software is subjective. Whether you think it's the best software out there, that's up to you. I get it. Their software is loaded with features. I personally prefer stock Android, but I do like Samsung's One UI, basically the superior version of TouchWiz, which was their lifeline back in the day. The screen on here, let me load up a video so you can see the screen. And I'm going to change it to 4K HDR, give it a chance to set itself. There it is. I also need to make sure that the brightness is set at the brightness is down low. And I don't need to turn it up too high either because, it's just a beautiful display. Now let's go ahead and...
All right, guys, here we are with another video. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys are doing well. So I've owned this car now for a little bit of time, man, and it has been a blast to drive.
Stereo speakers on here are really good. Some people don't talk about the stereo speakers. This display is absolutely beautiful, folks. I mean, the quality that you get from Samsung displays is just phenomenal, man. Now, these aren't the highest resolution displays anymore on the market. Samsung used to be known for they're just the top dogs for the displays. That may not be the case for resolution or pixel count, but there's no denying that this isn't even at full brightness, and it is freaking beautiful. I have to turn it down though to give you the good quality of the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and crank it down a little bit more. just to kind of show you, see if I can give you that really nice quality view. This is, I mean, you'll just never get it over video, folks. It's just so beautiful. But this is another advantage to, the Z Flip. You get a much bigger display for watching content, and it's just perfect. This is a perfect size folding device. In my eyes, I think this is great. I definitely like the Flip line because it's pocketable. It's easy on the pockets for sure. And it still is a very large slab style if you want it. So, performance wise, I think, again, Samsung isn't cutting any corners with this device. It's great. It has everything a person could possibly want in a device. I mean, Samsung is giving you everything that they could possibly throw at you and still try to keep the price down. But, performance is subjective. I think to some people, it depends on what you're doing with the device. But for me, if you just read the specs of this device, you'd be impressed. I mean, I've got 12 gigs of RAM, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. I've got 4,000 milliamp hour battery. Their fast charging is still on the lame side. I guess they do that for heating purposes because this is only 25 watts peak and then 15 watts wireless. That's just crazy to me. But you do have some killer specs here. I've got a 512 gig version. They both now come with both models because they're 256 gig or 512, and they both come with 12 gigs of RAM now. You remember they used to come with 8, and so I think just those specs alone, just the 8 Gen 3, a person would say, whoa. And the things you can't see is the IP48 water resistance, enhanced armor aluminum frame. So if you do drop this thing, it should be good to go. But again, just that processor inside is a huge win for Samsung. I'm super excited that they moved this up to the 4,000 milliamp hour battery. They definitely could put more in here. They just choose not to because it's a marketing ploy to get you to buy the next generation. It's going to have a 4,200 milliamp hour battery or a 45. And they'll say that we were astonished and amazed we can fit this bigger battery in here. When in reality, they could probably do it right now. But the price increase on these devices has really killed it for a lot of people. Some people are just not impressed with the way these things cost. I'm not impressed either. I got this only because of the phenomenal trade-in value that I got. I only paid $90 for my Z Flip 5, and then I got $650 for it, I believe, or $750 or something like that. So, but they did increase the pricing on here, and like all tech right now, it's expensive. There's no getting around it. It's expensive no matter how you look at it. But again, I like the Z Flip. Everything's there. It's got a beautiful design. It's got all the Samsung One UI features that the Fold has. It's got 2 beautiful displays, very nice displays. The cameras are phenomenal. The performance is there, like I said. The software is there. The battery life is really good. It has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. And obviously it lasts longer than my Z Flip 5 because it's optimized with the Gen 3 processor from Snapdragon, and then it's got a little bit bigger battery. I mean, it's not winning any awards, so I can make it through a full day. That's really all I need, right? I can go 24 hours with this. I can go over 24 hours, but I'm charging, in the afternoon the next day. It's optimized well, but it does need a bigger battery. I think this is a win, but it's up to you to determine what you think is a win for your money. I personally like the Z Flip lineup. I always have. I probably always will. And I think it's important that it stays in the lineup for sure. It's just, it can't leave. We need this. And I'm surprised Samsung isn't pushing this phone a lot more than they are. You don't hear Samsung really promoting this device like they do some of the other ones. So anyway, it's your man Jay. 48 hours, more like 72 probably, I don't know. A follow-up on the Z Flip 6. This is a great phone. And even without the trade-in, I've purchased these before. Because I didn't trade, I believe I traded in. I think I traded in my Fold 4 for the 5, and I'll probably just keep this going because I initially didn't start off with a lot of money out of pocket for the first phone flip that I bought. So I'm winning as long as I keep trading, because I'm never going to get the pricings that they're giving for these phones. It's just not going to happen, more than likely. Now you can, in fact, change these. There's a lot of functionality to the screen here. You can put on these different lock screens here, and it's cool. It's cool. You can change it. You can put your own personal picture here. These are really cool. This is a new one right here. This is pretty cool. Yeah, you can change. I have a picture of my car on the other one, and I'll probably just add it. But you can definitely change and create your own photo by doing so. And you'll see an edit button if you want to do that. So, but nonetheless, I like the phone. I think I probably will always like it, and I'm happy with it. I'm excited with it, man. I don't have any kind of quarrels about the Z Flip lineup. And I think for those that are just afraid to try it, man, you're missing out. Especially if you're a slab phone type of person. You know, it's not too late to get big money on the trade-ins. I'll leave the link to that in the description. You know, share this video with somebody who's on the fence. If you already have the Z Flip, you know, even though I do creation, I still try to be logical about what I'm telling you guys and save you money if I can. It's just a thing. But it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.